Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you for being with me again today. Do you remember the Azov Battalion or slash regiment? Well, the one that came out at Azovstal, came out, exited, did not surrender, and was not taken prisoner. Okay, that's the. These are the euphemisms we are supposed to use. They came out. They exited Azovstal. They didn't surrender. All right, so we got some news on that. Ukraińska Pravda from today, June 18th, 2022. Azov Regiment commander Denis Prokopenko hands over his command. So regiment, no battalion. And Denis Prokopenko, commander of the Azov Regiment of the National Guard of Ukraine, has handed over his duties to Major Mykyta, Mykyta Nadtochii. Nadtochii, okay. The source is Major Nadtochii in a comment for Radio Svoboda. All right, quote from Nadtochii, and I'm quoting, "It was just a telegram message from Denis Prokopenko, which said, whenever you are ready to assume the position, contact such and such people, and then go and assume command until I return," end quote. Prokopenko is currently a prisoner of war in Russia. All right. During the siege of Mariupol, Nadtochii commanded the 2nd Battalion of the Azov Regiment. Now, Nadtochii said that he was wounded in fighting at Azovstal in March during the early days of the siege of Mariupol, while attempting to transport the deceased and wounded to the hospital on the territory of Azovstal. A rocket launched from a Russian assault aircraft exploded right next to him. Fragments from the rocket hit Nadtochii's head, both leg, stomach, and left arm. On March 21st, Ukrainian helicopters evacuated Nadtochii alongside other severely wounded soldiers. He was among the first people to be evacuated by helicopter from Azovstal. Boom, the dog. According to Nadtochii, the helicopters first delivered food and then began to evacuate the severely wounded, including himself. All right, but we have here some information that the Mariupol defenders were able to leave Azovstal for Russian-controlled territory of Ukraine between 16 and 20 of May. So Mariupol defenders were able to leave for Russian-controlled territory. Just decided we're not going to go west, we're going to go east towards the Russians, and we meet them and have a vodka and whatever we have. Instead of saying Mariupol defenders surrendered to the Russians at Azovstal and were taken prisoner. That's how it should be, but euphemisms here. According to Russia, 2,439 soldiers left Azovstal bunkers, not taken prisoners. No, they left. They just say, well, I'm taking a vacation, I think. Bye-bye. And they say, oh, release me from my command. So they left Azovstal bunkers. The International Committee of the Red Cross representatives registered the Ukrainian soldiers leaving Azovstal as prisoners of war. My God, the General Staff of Armed Forces of Ukraine has stated that the defenders of Mariupol had completed their combat mission and unit commanders had been ordered to save the lives of military personnel. That's why they just said, "Okay, we're done. We don't surrender. We just received order to come and meet you, Russians, and we'll follow the orders." Unbelievable. Defense insisted. The Ukrainian Ministry of Defense insisted that the only way to rescue Ukrainian soldiers defending Azovstal was to follow the above mentioned procedure, like just walk out and meet Russians. Hello, nice to meet you. Some Russians and their collaborators from the temporarily occupied territory of Donetsk and Luhansk Oblast threatened Ukrainian soldiers with a tribunal. Prisoner exchange has not yet been confirmed, despite previous agreements. Well, I think they consider them something else. I think the Russians started part of their invasion, if you want to call it this way. The special operation was to get rid of this kind of people. They call them with certain ideologies. Nevertheless, did you hear how this author of this article, did some intellectual, mental gymnastics and verbal dodge and bob and weave stuff to let us know what happened actually in Azovstal, how they just were released from the command. They say, "Oh, guys, just save your lives, humanitarian. You're gonna go as prisoners of war, like you had other chance. You would have died over there, or they would have you would have what you did surrender. Otherwise, what? Starve or shot? What are the other options? None. So, nevertheless, this is how it's portrayed by this guy. Now, you let me know. This is funny, ridiculous. This is written for as as I said it before 86, not 85, 86 IQ. That's how these are written for. Those kind of people. Now, just to remind you, I don't know if you know, but it was, I can't remember what director, a movie director from Hollywood, um, Kubrick, or the other guy who now is in hiding. One of him on the same group is in France, or he was in France, he's in Israel, or he was in Israel. Okay, Roman Polanski, one of these guys, or another director, I can't remember exactly which one said, but it's very true. He said that the movies in Hollywood are made for teenagers of 13 years of age. So that's the level of the movies they try to make. So everybody can comprehend. Why? Because a teenager of a 13 year, I mean, being 13, has a certain IQ. And that could be at an adult IQ of a 13-year-old teenager. You know what that IQ could be? Any guesses? All right, just check it out. Nevertheless, so you see, this is the targeted targeted intellectual age and understanding, the comprehensive age of the audience when they make movies, when they write articles. And that's why when people like you and I, when you will read something like this, it's like ridiculously funny, not because you say, what the is this guy talking about? But you know how these guys, a lot of people will not catch it. Not a lot of, most people. If you catch it, you're from that very high level of intellectual group or something, because otherwise people would not catch these things. They read them as they are. And by repetition, they will spew back, vomit back the same terms that they were used. No, they didn't surrender. They came out. Oh, okay. All right. And if you try to reason with them and make them understand that the term they use doesn't really match the action that really the behavior that really occurred, they go a little bit like this, and you say that's another word that fits much better the description of the action that they employed than at Azovstal. They will have a how do you say, cognitive dissonance, or they will be like, we'll try to put things together with, but well, no, they have a shock in their head, and they will refuse to believe you, thinking that you are the person who really are bad, because you just twist words, because they said it like so many times. Why are you smarter than them? I mean, this kind of argument you should not have with those kind of people. I had, unfortunately, until I realized, wait a second, I give up. Bye-bye, see ya, never. That's the way it is. And you're going to end up being how's that saying? Don't argue with the crazy, with the madman or mad person, because the people from outside will not be able to distinguish which one is which. So the same here. Euphemisms over euphemisms. So now we know we have a new commander over there, is guy in charge, and that's good. That's good. I wonder how he will do, if the regiment, battalion is still active, or is just in hiding in the Russians' cells and being talked to, if you know what I mean. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.